Today's video is long overdue. We are going to show you guys how we pack a solid body electric guitar in a hard shell case. And I have two objectives with this video. One, if you are selling a guitar, whether it's to us, we're always buying, or anyone else, this is how we recommend you do it. Or two, if you're ordering a guitar from us and want to know kind of our process, this is how we do it. We put a lot of care into everything we ship. It's really important to us to kind of hold ourselves to really high standards so your items arrive in the condition they were shipped out in. And if we accomplish both of those things, then this video is a success. The guitar we're shipping out today is this gorgeous 2005 Gibson Les Paul Standard Premium Plus. It's got this really nice Honeyburst top on it. I really like this one, so this is gonna need a top tier pack job. Let's get into it. So if you know us, we love talking about boxes. These are the ones we use. These are 45 by 18 by 6. I know you can get these from like Uline, Amazon has them. Depending how many you buy, they can be a little bit expensive if you're only getting a few. We buy them in bulk, which definitely helps. But you can also use these source quality boxes from like local music shops and stuff if you just need one or two. I do usually recommend if you're only selling like one or two guitars and you know a local shop, it might be better to just kind of do business with them rather than go out and buy bulk boxes to ship one or two things. But if you are looking to ship a bunch of guitars, then you can usually order packs as low as like 5 or 10, get them for fairly inexpensive, and they're nice quality boxes. These are, this 45-18-6 size is only gonna be big enough to do regular size solid body guitar. It's not gonna be big enough for a bass. It's not gonna be big enough for an acoustic, so keep that in mind. First thing you wanna do is just build the box. What I like to do is use the labeled side as the bottom. This just helps so people in shipping can see the size and everything when they're pulling it. I don't know if that really does anything, but that's just always how I've done it. Get your tape. I like to tape like this angle first, do 3, kind of 1 on each corner, 1 in the middle, and then start at the back. And my thing is always, there's nothing wrong with going overkill. You don't want to do not enough, because that can lead to stuff opening up and shipping. So you don't need to do all of this technically, but I recommend you do just to be safe. I know we're using a lot of tape here. Just like that. Beautiful, and then come back. Hit the corner again, which is locking that middle piece of tape in. Hit this corner. And sometimes I'll even go like that. This is all really flat, really even. Make sure that this is all sticking. You don't want it to pop up later. This is sealed. This is not gonna come apart. Flip that over. Bring the flaps down a little bit. Makes everything easier later. So we use this roll paper, conveniently on a mic stand right now actually, but now what I wanna do is put this void fill in the bottom, and you're gonna wanna have about the same amount in the bottom and the top. So the best way to guesstimate that is to actually hold your guitar up to the box and see kind of how much room you're gonna have on both sides. So let's do that real quick. So you can see there's gonna be all of this space here needs to be filled. So you can use at least like 2 sheets that size on the bottom. If you don't have nice packing paper, you can usually buy some from like Home Depot or Lowe's in like low quantities, or like go to pretty much any shipping supply store and you can get these rolls for between like $30 to $50 a piece, I think. I don't personally recommend newspaper. I think it's not conducive to what you're trying to do. It's not thick enough, and it's too soft, and I don't like the way it crinkles up, so I really do recommend getting like proper craft void fill paper. You can use big bubble wrap, but it's a little more expensive. So if you're to get the thick bubble wrap that we'll talk about in a little bit, you can actually use that for the whole job, but that just kind of adds up. And it doesn't compress the same way paper does, but I will say we'll get the job done, but that's not how we do it. Thinner bubble wrap can actually be a good option for smaller void fill. Again, you can pick it up at like Home Depot, Lowe's. You probably have some stuff in your garage you can recycle. The bigger the piece you have, the better. Like I've seen people kind of take like little balls of like printer paper and stuff, and that's just not gonna get you anywhere fast. So bubble wrap. If you have something else that was packaged with this, you can totally recycle this stuff, which is always valid, but I would try to use like a more substantial paper. Packing peanuts are graded for lower weight items than guitars, so don't use packing peanuts. Also, they're really annoying to deal with, and you don't want your buyer dealing with that. The next step is going to be to take 2 long sheets of paper and put 1 vertical, 1 horizontal, and that's to kind of cover the sides of the guitar. Now that we have our box prepped, let's do the final inspection on the guitar before it goes out. Even though we've already set this one up and spent some time with it, I still want to do one last check on it before it goes out. So I'm going to plug this in, play it, make sure everything sounds great, make sure there's no scratchy pots, nothing like that. And if everything's good, then we're good to proceed. Everything feels good on this one, so it's good to go. Now I want to detune the strings a bit to take some tension off the neck for shipping. They don't need to be completely like off, but just looser. Kind of just past the point where they make a note is a good spot. So that's good. Small pro tip, you always want to make sure there's nothing like in here that shouldn't be. I've seen people leave their own music or like a key to something that's not the case or like whatever else in here, so make sure you've taken your personal belongings out of that. So since the guitar is not moving at all and this is a nice high quality case, we don't need to put anything else in here. This is going to do its job the way it should. So if the guitar is moving in the case, I like to put like the paper around the body to lock the body in place. I don't like to as much, especially with the Gibson guitar on headstock, because I want that to not be like up against another object, which could totally break in shipping if something crazy happens. So try to make sure the body is secure and not moving, and that way the neck and the headstock will stay exactly where it should. If the case is the correct case for that guitar, there shouldn't be much of an issue. Make sure every one of the latches is latched. I can't tell you the amount of times I've opened a shipping box to find that they didn't even latch every latch, which is like the bare minimum. So I absolutely swear by using 1/2-inch bubble for the bubble wrap for guitar since it's so thick. And I like to use the 48-inch wide bubble as it's a nice length for the guitar case and makes everything easy. We have this big roller. I get that most people don't have this luxury, but it does make our lives way easier. I would check local shipping supply stores for bubble wrap like this. I don't know of any like smaller stores that have it. You can get the 5/16 wrap, which is a little bit smaller from Home Depot and Lowe's. And that wrap's decent and that'll definitely do the job. I just like to kind of go the extra mile and use like the thickest possible. You want to wrap around the case. My thing is at least 3 to 4 like times over, which makes sure that every spot in the case is protected. So it's nice to have perforated bubble wrap. That makes your life much easier. Yeah, there's a good amount of wraps. Tape all the way across. Now bring this in. I like to square the corners up like this so the corners are really protected, as those are the most vulnerable areas on here. So we didn't have enough room to totally like fold this over, but we still need to protect this. So I'm just gonna take another piece of bubble wrap and put it on top. Cool. That is very well protected now. Make sure your guitar is upright and not upside down or anything else weird. I've seen very crazy things. Bring your void fill around. Now that we have it in here, it's time to fill all the sides and everything in. So the first thing I like to do is put packing paper on both sides, and I'm trying to get all the way down here. And that's what's gonna keep this from moving around. And now we're just gonna keep filling out the sides until we get all the way to the top. I'm gonna keep just ripping off pieces and kind of putting them in. You know, I know you could just pull off the roll and just keep going in and never ripping it, but that's not gonna compress as well. So I wanna compress the paper as much as I can, so this can be as safe as possible. So you can see it's kind of folding out like that, but that's okay. That's gonna get fixed in the next step. It's all gonna be nice and rectangular. You don't need to overthink this. There's a million ways to do this right. Just make sure that you're kind of filling all of this space with this void fill. Whatever way you do it will probably work fine as long as the guitar can't move and there's no empty space. Now is the fun part, to write a note to the buyer from this guitar and let them know that we appreciate you buying it. If you bought from Flash Flood, then you already know about this part. But just throw in some Flash Flood stickers. Throw in some Conversation Piece stickers too, we just got new ones. Throw in a card. Now that's gonna go right on top. Bring the flaps in, and then now's the time where we'll even all this out. You want to hold this really tight and make sure that this is actually like a straight line and not just like if you just taped it like that, that'd be real bad. So also, if you do that, you're gonna increase your box size, which will increase the shipping price. Continue to just seal this up. Same logic as the bottom. That is very sealed up now. Let's print the label on it, it's good to go. If you're selling your guitar online through somewhere like Reverb or eBay, you can usually create the label through that e-commerce platform. You can also always use an app like ShipStation or like Pirate Ship to make your label. We use ShipStation, which is great. But if you're selling to a store like us, then usually you're gonna get prepaid label. So that makes your life even easier. But once you have your label, just throw it in the box. Our life is easy because we have a thermal printer, so we don't have to deal with taping anything. Just throw it on there. You always want to pick your box up once it's all sealed and do a shake test to make sure that nothing's moving. Nothing is moving in there. It is solid. Now that your guitar is packed up, it's time to drop it off. This one's going via UPS, so it can go to the UPS store. I know we got really specific in this video. I think the important takeaway is kind of the principles of why we're doing what we're doing. There's a million right ways to do this. The biggest thing is just making sure that the guitar is not going to move in there. Everything is well protected, and there's, you know, bubble wrap, void fill, all that good stuff. If you do it all right and you use your brain, then I'm sure you're gonna do a great job and your guitar is gonna get there in one piece. That is how we pack a solid body electric guitar in a hard shell case. Well, every other kind of guitar is fairly similar. There are some like nuances, so if there's anything in particular you want to know how to pack, definitely drop it in the comments below and we can do a video focused on like that kind of instrument. Hope you enjoyed, hope you got some value from this. We'll see you again in another video soon. Let's go bring this to UPS. Ready to go. Actually, we still have more packages to pack, so once we pack those, then we'll be ready to go.